What brings you to Kollision Con?
Well, they invited me, and I guess, like, the main reason I get invited to most conventions that I get invited to is because I've been voice acting in anime for about 13 years. And to be honest, probably 90% of the conventions invite me because of about one of 3 or 4 roles. Reed in Full Metal Alchemist, or Sosuke Sagara in Full Metal Panic. Let's see, there's a Fakir in Princess Tutu. There's a few that, and Ashura and Soul Eater more recently. Those are the shows that have been like, I've been in literally probably about close to 200 anime, but those are the those and about 5 or 6 others are the ones that usually get me invited to cons. So that's why I'm here.
So what got you into like the voice acting of?
Like, how did I get there? Yeah. So I started out as a kid as a stage actor. Mm-hmm. When I was 9 years old, I started acting professionally on stage, and I did it all the way until my 20s. And in my late 20s, I was doing a show with this girl in Houston, and she said, you'd be really good for this company in town called ADV. Mm-hmm. And ADV was this itty bitty nothing company that no one had heard of really, and they were dubbing anime, along with just distributing anime in general. And I went and auditioned for them the next time they had an audition, and that really started everything. That's how I started not only voicing anime, but my entire voiceover career sprung from that. So like everything I do, like commercials and audiobooks and narration and all that stuff, it all came because of that one audition at ADV Films back in the late 90s.
Do you still remember the first anime you voiced over?
Yes, I do. The first job I ever got was Soldier B in a show called Master of Mosquiton the Vampire, and I had one line. I said, "It's a mummy," and I died. That was, yeah.
What did he just say? Something about mummies?
Yes, I believe he did say mummies.
What advice would you give to young people who are inspired to become a voice actor like you?
There's so many ways to answer that question. It's tough, but the main thing most of us all agree, all the voice actors tend to pretty much agree on, is that you need to have a foundation in acting somewhere. Like if you just even if it's like at your school, if you take drama classes, if you do school plays, get involved with your community theater, join some kind of an improv group or anything like that, that's going to give you your best basis for how to be a voice actor, because what's at the root of voice acting is not, oddly enough, a lot especially younger people think it's all about funny voices or character voices or all that, but that's just sort of icing on the cake. It's all about acting, and it's all about being able to create a character with your voice, because you don't get to use your body or your face, you just got your voice. Mm-hmm. Just your vocal instrument to use to create a character that's 3-dimensional, that has depth. And so I would tell them just to start acting any way they can. Even, I was just telling someone this earlier today, even something as simple, if you have no theater resources around you at all, something as simple as like reading aloud at home to yourself, or even into a mic, even if it's a little like junky mic that comes with your computer, and you listen to yourself and listen to how. Because what you want to listen for is how good are you at taking just words that are written down on a piece of paper and making them sort of pop into life, right? Mm-hmm. That's the first step of figuring out whether or not it's something you just think you want to do or something you really can do. If you can bring words to life, then it probably is the right gig for you. And from there, you have to start considering things like getting a demo made, which is kind of expensive. It's something you have to save for. And then once you have your demo made, you can start submitting your demo to different studios or agents or whatever. But if someone is interested in specifically working on voice acting in anime only, you're going to have to live in the right place or move to the right place. So that would be like the Los Angeles area, Dallas, Houston, New York, and I guess Toronto. Of course, that's if you're Canadian. Because like people are like, why don't you work for the Toronto companies? Well, because there's immigration issues, and there's all that work visas and stuff. So really, if like for example, you lived here in Illinois and you sent something to Funimation in Dallas and they thought you were really good, they'd be like, that's great, you're really good, but are you willing to move to Dallas, to the Dallas area? And if you say no, well, you'll never work for them. So that's pretty much, I'm covering the basics of the bases of what you would need to do to become a voice actor. There are great books out there that take you sort of like 300-page books that sort of take you from A to Z. And the best one that exists is called The Art of Voice Acting. And it's by James Arlberger. It's considered sort of like the Bible on like how to get into the business. It's a fantastic book. And like everyone I know in the voice acting community has read it or has it on their shelf or something. So I would recommend that book, definitely.